Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy the Whiskey Bandit, and today I'm going to be going over a squad review, or a meta type review if you will. A lot of people have been asking me a lot lately about different meta team comps, and I've kind of been messaging people back saying, you know, we've already tried them, blah blah blah, but I was like, you know what, why don't I just make videos on it? So the staple of this video for video 6 purposes is going to be maedb, tahit, and raarspit. Now, the way this works is, on paper it sounds phenomenal because maedb's third ability basically puts down a melee damager mark that when that is cleared, sorry about the text message, when that is cleared by a melee damager, that opponent will have to skip its next turn. So that is already kind of a cool deal itself. And the other ability type deal here is tahit places a healer damager mark, so you know that it will do additional damage. And that sort. Now, raarspit second ability leaves a rogue mark. So when the rogue mark is cleared, it does 50% dot damage. So on their the next hero's turn, they will lose 50% of their HP. And that happens for 2 turns, which is just phenomenal if you can get it off in time before they already have one of their turns where it just ticks down 30. So on paper, this seems like a phenomenal type deal. I will tell you the downside to this. This is a very mechanically based type squad composition. Now, where do you think the problem with that comes into play? Defense. Yes. Your defenses will be obliterated because the AI are not going to use the correct abilities. Most notably, the tahit will always use his third ability first for whatever reason. At least from my experiences, and what that does is replaces your rogue mark from tahit, so you're only going to be able to take 30% HP away instead of 50. Okay, so that's a huge one. All right, now let's go ahead and talk into more about the squad. With this 3 type of squads, you really need 2 healers because it's almost a longevity type deal. You're kind of trying to whittle one hero down is like at a time, which is all fine and dandy, you know what I mean? That's how a lot of squads are, but this takes a lot of mechanics to get that to actually whittle it down, because usually you get them to like 70% HP and then they're like bam, you know what I mean, dead. And that's fine, but you just have to have everything all together instead of just actually, you know, inputting or dishing out raw actual damage. So as you can see right here, this squad will pretty much never work against a rogue Sig Aza or a Zerial squad. It doesn't work. It gets defeated pretty much every time. Now I'm sure there's RNG chances out there where people are like, oh, I beat that squad 3 times with the squad you're using. That's fine. I get that can happen, but it really 9 times out of 10 you're gonna lose. So I'm going to refresh a battle here so that I can show you a different one. This is a 3 healer, 1 rogue and I guess it's a 3 healer comp, really, and then you have maedb and rock. So now this can actually be done. I'm going to show you here. This is all about focusing the Lucky, who is pretty much the bane of healing. Like, if you let Lucky stay alive, she's just going to out heal most of your damage, unless you have 2 anti-healers. So moving on from there, you can see we've really focused Lucky down. Now I need to heal. Okay, I'm going to use another tag. This is going to proc Azerial's passive, which is fine. We'll start working into it. I hit my melee damager, cleared that rogue mark, or cleared that melee damager mark, which makes Lucky skip a turn, which is perfect. Now it gives me a chance to lock her down again so she can't use any of those heals. And this is where we really start whittling the characters down. So Lucky is pretty much dead at this point. The Azerial mark has been cleared already, so we're just going to do some raw damage to her, really. And she'll die, right here. Now we want to focus, doing the same thing over again. Let's get the big poison from raarspit. Let's clear the rogue mark with maedb. So now you'll see in a minute that he's going to take 50% damage. And he's also going to get his turn skipped right now because we're going to hit him. Okay, so he's a little bit less than 50% HP right here. And that automatically means he's dead. We also have additional dots on him, so he really was going to take over 50% of his HP away. You see that he's immediately cleared. Let's lock down the Azerial, all right? And now I'm just going to move over to the rock. I could probably focus on Azerial, but the real issue is I kind of need to heal is what my mindset is. And then I realized, you know what, I'm actually not going to be able to heal because my Azerial is locked down. But no problem. We'll just stick to damaging the rock because rock doesn't have a lot of armor. He's not really all that hard to take out. Let's hit Azerial with the dot from Raarspit, okay? Now we're going to clear it here with a rogue in just a second. And I actually want to bring her ability all the way down, or initiative all the way down. That way I can get the melee damager mark and make her actually skip a turn. So she won't actually be able to heal on her next turn now also. And she's going to take that 50% damage. I can simply keep locking her down, or I could move over to rock and start throwing some dots on him. But I elect to go just with the Azerial just to kind of knock her out of the way. I know rock's going to go down. You see how much damage we just ticked off of Azerial. That's what I'm talking about. The squad is it can work in situational, in certain situations. But the problem is that it's so mechanically based. And this game is a lot of RNG, especially when it comes to defense. You know what I mean? So your defenses are never going to be mechanical. They just won't. I think you all probably know that by now. Your defenses will never work if you're running a mechanical squad. Until we can figure out or we get some kind of changes to the AI, that's just not going to work out, the way we want. Now, the rest of the video is just kind of me going to show you some other ideas. I actually make a lot of mistakes here. I don't do the combination or the mechanics, and this is why I say, you know what I mean? Like, if your mechanics aren't perfect, then this squad doesn't work. And you'll see exactly what I mean here, because I'm going to end up using Tahit's third ability when I have the rogue mark already up from raarspit. So I'm only ever doing 30% damage per tick instead of 50. And this is what I'm talking about. So the rogue mark is up. I use my third ability from Tahit. That basically then negates taking out the 50% chunk of HP, which we would want. Now, I can personally say that it doesn't matter in this squad. If I would have mechanically done it right, I will still lose to this squad 9 times out of 10. The only way I would not lose is if I got an incredible amount of dodge from my team. But that's about it. So running through all that, Azerial's going to get blasted. She gets obliterated really fast. And from there, it just really doesn't work out. You know what I mean? So now I have no heals. They have 5 heroes still up, and I basically have nothing done whatsoever. Succubus isn't even helping because not only is she getting farmed now on damage, she has such a long... She's slow. You know what I mean? Succubus is a little bit slower than the rest of the rogues. And that's the downfall of having her do so much damage. You know what I mean? And another problem is, my big thing with Succubus nowadays, if the enemy opponent dodges Succubus attacks, Succubus is useless. They dodge 1. She's essentially useless. Like, I was using her in the tournament the other day, and I used the kiss, and 2 people fortified her kiss, and I was like, well, Succubus literally just became useless to me now because the only person that had the mark was Sig, and it didn't even affect him. So, anyways, moving on. You can see right now, my squad is completely just done right here. Tahit's basically, you could blow on him, he would fall down. Raarspit is about 2 attacks away. Yep, like that. And then Maeve is, she'll last for probably another 2 turns, but it doesn't really matter because there's nothing Maeve can do by herself against 4 champions. You know what I mean? So, with that, we'll get ready to move into the next squad. That is a defeat right there. We'll move over. What we're going to do now is throw Sig in instead of Succubus, and we're going to fight the same exact squad, just so I can show you that this really doesn't work against the rogues, which is just unfortunate. If you have 3 rogues, a Sig, and a Zerial, this squad will be defeated 9 times out of 10. I've probably said that a million times already. I apologize if I keep repeating myself. But as you can see, I messed this up here again. Also noteworthy, when the healer mark is on a champion, you can use Azariel's second ability to do much, much more damage. But it's still just, it's not enough, okay? And that's the problem with this 3 attackers, is that there really isn't a lot of damage. You just have one major burst of damage when you get it all combined together, and then you can lock down one other hero for 1 turn. That's essentially all you get out of this. And the burst damage is only targeted to one opponent, which is why it just isn't effective. You know what I mean? Burst damage is great if it's an AoE burst damage. You know what I'm talking about? You're like the AoE bomb squad. That works so well because you burst all 5 heroes on the enemy team. And not only are you bursting them with one hero, you burst them with a second hero. So that's why the AoE bomb squad works as well as it does, is there's huge burst from 2 different heroes, and that's really what makes that work. Because without the, you know, the 2 bursts, it really doesn't work at all. And I think that's where this squad falls apart, is that you can only burst down 1 hero at a time. So you really do need 2 healers in most scenarios. Problem with running 2 heroes nowadays is that if you're running 2 healers, you're most likely not running a tank. And if you are running a tank with 2 healers, you do not have a lot of DPS. So you are really in the long haul of fights here. As you can see, we're back to the same scenario though. Maeve down to the end against 4. So okay, we'll move on. What we're going to do now is we're going to fight an AoE bomb squad, but I'm going to use Lucky and Azariel as my bottom staple instead of a Azariel and Sig or Azariel and Succubus. Now, this will work, like I said, because you whittle 1 hero down at a time, and you basically are essentially bursting that hero. So the real issue is against a squad with an Azariel, running 2 healers is very difficult to kill an Azariel because of that fact, unless you have an anti-heal, which we do not, which is another problem. I think something that would make Tahit great is if he had an anti-heal. Okay, his third ability, say take away the 45% extra damage on the poison and give him an anti-heal for 2 turns. I think that would change up the bug squads in general. I think Tahit would become one of the most viable champions in that factor, because he has the anti-heal and he can clear or melee damage remark, which makes them skip a turn. I think that makes him become much more viable. Plus, he still could put the healer mark there. I like that concept. So if there was anything I could take away from this, is that if Tahit had an anti-heal on his third ability, it would be a game changer for Tahit. And we'd actually be able to see a lot more team compositions come into fold, I think, with that simple change right there. So maybe I'll suggest that over to the devs and see what we can do, see what they think about it. Yeah, we'll see. You know what I mean? I think that, because I really like using the bugs, especially raarspit. Raarspit nukes. I mean, she just nukes a single target, which is really great for me for fighting Sig, because whenever I fight against the enemy Sig and I have a Sig myself, my Siegfried is literally dead within like 2 turns, and the other one is still at like 75% HP, simply due to dodge mechanics and things like that, and fortifies. And I swear mine doesn't fortify anything. But I'm really rambling on in this video. I apologize. It's simply because I've been through this squad so many times and tried to make it work so many times. I just know the ins and outs of it. I will win this battle because, like I said, this is a longevity type deal, and all it does is it takes time for putting these marks individually on each one of these heroes. So the real focus was, obviously, I wanted to take out the main source of damage, the Zytima. The next, I want to get the big healer, which is Azariel. While locking down Sig, this can be easily accomplished. As you see, there goes Azariel. she had so many dots on her, plus the 50% HP that was being removed. It really just took about like 65 to 70% of her HP in one tick. And that's what I'm saying. Like, the burst potential here is incredible. It literally just takes a lot of time to get it to work. So it's almost mandatory, if you will, that you need 2 healers. But the moment you have, you know, a succubus or a Maeve on the other team, your 2 healers are innate, and then you basically have a wasted champion, if that makes any sense. Now, so this is real simple here. We're going to obviously, you know, we're just going to whittle these last two heroes down, and we will win this battle. There's still 5 of my champions up. They only have 2. But that is this squad in the staple. If you want to try it, go ahead. It's very fun to use because it's so mechanical based. You know what I mean? If you miss the mechanics on it, you're going to be like, I just messed up. And you probably will lose. But that's kind of the joy out of using this type of squad. So with that, I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to do some more meta type videos here soon. And hopefully you all enjoyed this. I know it was kind of a lengthy video, but I kind of wanted to cover all the bases. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back for more.